North American songwriter, we had the opportunity to talk to Ryan and Lance from In Parallel.
Adam was able to talk to Ryan and Lance over Zoom audio. The band was able to record their EP in Nashville with the help of their most devoted fans from their previous projects, Celebrity and Hopesfall, through a crowdfunding campaign. Check out their new record, Fashioner, through Wiretap Records.
And make sure to check out our YouTube channel and Facebook page at Bringing It Backwards, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bringing Back Pod. We're Bringing It Backwards with Ryan and Lance from In Parallel. Thank you so much again for doing this. Our podcast is about your journey in the music industry and how you guys got to where you are today, and starting In Parallel. I know you've both played in prior bands. I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about that.
Yeah, of course.
Lance,
yeah,
you want to kick it off, Lance?
Yeah, where are you from, Lance?
I'm actually, I live in Nashville right now, but originally from Northern California.
Oh, what part?
So Grass Valley, which is kind of northeast of Sacramento.
Oh, okay,
I'm not sure
cool.
if you know where that is. Yeah.
I lived in the Bay Area for a number of years, and I'm in San Diego, so I'm in California. I was just curious.
Very cool. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I was born in Los Angeles area and then moved up to Northern California. So I know the area a little bit.
Right on. How'd you get into music?
Oh, man. Well, I grew up in a very musical family, so it was just kind of always something that was around. My parents were always, playing and singing, and they actually met in a band. So,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah. They took me on the road with them for a little bit when I was 4, playing coffee houses, a couple of hippies, having a good time, trying to figure it out. But yeah. So. But, later on in life, when I started seeing live shows was when, I got the bug. So.
Very cool. What's the first instrument you learned?
Guitar.
Guitar?
Definitely. But it's funny. Yeah, I was so resistant to it, though, in the beginning. My little brother, he's about 4 years younger than me. He picked it up and started playing great instantly, and that motivated me to start playing and practicing. And I was practicing like 2 hours a day, so I could just because I was competitive with them. So
that's
anyway.
funny.
yeah, it's crazy.
What about you, Ryan? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, and lived there until I was about 8 years old. And then my family relocated to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I lived until I moved to Nashville in 2003 to play with Lance.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you moved there for the band?
Yeah. I was not for In Parallel, but for our previous band called Celebrity. We put out a couple of records, but they existed before me, and I was a big fan of their first EP called Sleep. And when I left Hopesfall, they found out and contacted me and asked if I would like to try out for the band, and being a huge fan of the band, I was like, absolutely. And I was looking for a life change at that point and kind of a new start. So I picked everything up and moved to Nashville to play with Lance.
Wow. How did you get into music originally?
I played saxophone as a kid, starting in elementary school in the elementary school band. And I played all the way up through marching band in high school. And I was always just a big fan of music as a kid. I can't even put my finger on why. I just was drawn to music. And, when my mom, I convinced her to get me a guitar when I was a teenager, and that was pretty much it. I quit the saxophone immediately and kind of dove headfirst into guitar and alternative music, which is what appealed to me at the time and still does. But
wow. And then when did you move to Nashville? You moved recently then to join Celebrity?
It's been a while now. I moved in 2003.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's been a minute. So
sure.
Lance and I have actually been playing together off and on in different bands for those, what are we at now, Lance? 17 years?
Yeah, 17, 18 years.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah. Were you both in Hopesfall or just you,
just
Ryan?
Me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I left after I left the band after we recorded the Satellite Years, which came out on Trustkill, and then I recently rejoined back up with the band within the past year and a half to record some new songs. So I'm kind of doing both.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rad. Right on. Well, okay. So tell me about putting together In Parallel then.
Ooh, Lance, you wanna take that one?
Sure. Yeah. I think, for the majority of the band, I think Celebrity ended earlier than we wanted it to. Mm-hmm. So really, In Parallel was born out of that. We kind of wanted to keep going, but we knew we wanted it to be different and we wanted to be challenged. So we were a three-piece right off the bat, and we figured we'd go ahead and take a stab at just creating our own beats and playing live that way. We'd seen other bands pull it off, so it gave us a little bit of confidence at the time, but we knew very little about the equipment needed in order to make that happen. But we started practicing, I think, in an old picture frame warehouse where Jesse, our bass player, had worked at the time. And I mean, it was a real sort of a janky setup in the beginning, but really the first song that we wrote ended up being the first song on our last record, or I guess our very first record, Broken Code. So, but the name of that track was Bridge and Tunnel, and it's one of our favorites, I think. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of the main sort of, drive for us starting that band, was just not wanting to be finished quite yet and wanting to be challenged.
Mm-hmm. And both Hopeful and Celebrity, you guys were signed to labels?
Yeah. Celebrity for the majority of the time was on Doghouse Records.
Oh, wow. Out of San Diego?
Yeah.
Or Solana Beach, right? Yeah.
I believe
cool.
so.
I think actually, at the time they were in Toledo, Ohio. So they may have ended up going somewhere else, I guess.
Doghouse. I'm thinking Surf Dog. There's Doghouse and Surf Dog. My bad. Surf Dog is more San Diego, but it has Brian Setzer, and they have like the, I don't know, Sublime's catalog, I think now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I got confused. So you guys were signed to Doghouse.
Doghouse, which I guess the All American Rejects kind of, helped that label out in the beginning.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Wow.
But a few decent
and
bands.
before that, the first EP that I was not on in Celebrity was the one where I kind of found them and became a fan, and that one was on a small label called One Day Savior that was based in Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay. How is it? That must have been pretty rad getting, being a part of getting signed to a record label and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we, and this was like Ryan said, pre Ryan, but we had just started trying to put songs together that we believed in. And, basically somebody heard them and wanted to help us out and, record them. And then all of a sudden there was this weird buzz going around about the band. And, we were signed, and then we had some other labels that were interested in us. So mostly because, we put out that first EP and, but everything kind of went from there. And unfortunately abruptly ended in 2007. I think it was 2007, Ryan. I'm not sure if that's
2000. Yeah, 2008, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. So after that ran its course in 2008, what was next for you guys? You probably didn't start In Parallel right away.
No, we didn't. No. Lance at the time, he had been living with He was roommates with my wife actually for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of during that downtime, the two of us started collaborating on ideas because I was in the house all the time. And we, kind of, I think that was when the initial kind of framework for In Parallel probably started. We're in those kind of bedroom writing sessions that trying to figure out if we could do it without the full lineup of Celebrity. But we did a little side project afterward with Mark, who is also in Parallel with us, called The Good Wolves. That was kind of a I don't know, Lance, what would you say? It was almost like a tongue-in-cheek nod to just a dirty rock and roll band, which was kind of something new for us because we lean more, kind of towards The Cure versus just straight up rock and roll. But we did that for a couple of years, and we reached out to Jesse, our bass player, and said, we have the itch. Let's see if we can do it again with the three of us. And our first EP, Broken Codes, was done with the three of us, and Mark acted as our producer engineer, and he just recently came on as a full-time member for this release that's coming up.
Oh, cool.
After a few, yeah, we had asked him several times, like, man, why don't you just join the band? And he was a little resistant to it. I think he just had a lot going on at the time, and I think we finally talked him into it. So,
yeah,
thankfully, yeah, we exactly. We asked enough times.
Yeah,
that's cool. So with Broken Codes, did you guys tour on that record?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, we played a few local shows, but Broken Codes took a while to write and a long time to record. Because like I said, it was kind of, brand new territory. So it was a lot of trial and error. But honestly, I think we wrote songs for about 4 years, maybe. And then it took us 4 different attempts before we had finally recorded, Broken Codes in a way that we thought did it justice, because we fell in love with those songs and we wanted to make sure that we documented them. That was really kind of, at that point, that was really just sort of the mission, was making sure that we had those recorded. And then, and then we played a few shows to support that locally. But, we were definitely not in a place to where we could just get up and go tour. We all had jobs and everything, and it just didn't make sense. But yeah.
But then you guys you drew the attention of Wiretap Records. How did that happen for you?
Well, it was organic. Kind of to rewind just a bit, after Broken Codes was released, my wife and I had purchased a new home, and have a basement, which is amazing. And so I converted the basement to a recording studio, and that really kind of changed everything for us, because it's given us the ability to do it all ourselves and not have to rely on anybody else. But, when we finished Fashioner, we pretty much wrote and recorded it over the course of 2019 in my house. And we felt that this batch of songs was special, and we wanted to get it done right. Serendipity, we sent a blind email to one of our favorite mix engineers and musicians named Ken Andrews, who was highly influential on all of us. He's in a band called Failure. We sent him a blind email with a couple of the songs and said, hey, would you be interested in mixing this? We've admired your work for a long time. And he got back to us.
Wow.
It kind of floored us, because we're not a full-time touring band. And he said he liked the songs and would love to work with us. And that was just an amazing experience. And we felt really validated by that, because Ken, he's a wizard, he's amazing. So anyway, long story short, once we got the finals from Ken, I was like, I feel like we need to bring somebody on who can help us get this to the next level with the stage of life that we're in. And I was talking with my buddy in Hopesfall, Adam, and he's a big vinyl collector. And I was like, do you know of any kind of more boutique, style labels that might want to, take a risk on a band our size? And he's like, you should reach out to Wiretap without hesitation. And I sent a blind email to Rob and at Wiretap and said, hey, we like what your label is doing. We think we could be, might be a good fit. And he said, let me sit with it for a little while. And about a month and a half later, he reached out and said, let's hop on a Zoom call. And that's kind of what led us to Wiretap.
That's awesome. So they're going to be putting out this EP for you guys?
Yeah, which has been a massive help, because Broken Codes, the three of us were doing everything ourselves. And while that's super fun and we like to do that, we also have families and full-time careers. So, it can be hard to squeeze all that in, but,
sure.
But Rob's been a massive help so far, and he brought on Earshot, to help with the PR side of things, and both have been excellent.
That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think it was really, it's interesting because the minute we talked with Rob, we knew it was a really good fit. We had spoken with another label just before him, and it just didn't feel completely right. And then talking with Rob, it made sense, and everything along the way, with the recording of this latest record, and Ken being on board, and just everything started kind of falling in place. And like Ryan said, it kind of felt special, and we wanted to have a little bit further reach, or at least as far as getting our music out there to more people. And that's kind of why we started reaching out, because we are a band that really does like to have control over everything, for better or worse. And so we do our own artwork. In the past, obviously we put out Broken Codes on our own, and it was really nice this time to kind of have the backing of Rob and Wiretap, and then also Earshot has been really helpful too. So
yeah,
great.
That's awesome. Did you guys like you said you recorded the record and kind of got it going most of last year? Did you have to delay the release due to COVID, or did or was September always when it was going to come out?
That's a good question. I mean, the record was done at the beginning of 2020. And, we were debating internally, when do we want to put this thing out? And I think we had initially said sometime in May. And, as we all know, 2020 had way different plans for literally everybody on the planet. So it became very clear to me that felt like the wrong timing. And I also had this like feeling in my gut. I was like, it was just gnawing at me. I was like, we're not going to self-release this thing. Someone's going to come along and want to help out. And I'm just glad that we trusted those instincts, because if we would have released, Fashioner in May, with COVID, the Black Lives Matter movement, everything kind of coalescing at once, it just wouldn't have felt proper to put it out at that time. So when Rob came along about a month after, I guess it would have been in June, I think, he kind of proposed a schedule, and September made sense to us because it kind of feels like a fall record. And I think our music kind of plays to that vibe of moving into colder weather. And I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I think the other thing too was, with Ryan being in Hopesfall, that they had their Hall of the Sky single come out, and I know that kind of pushed it back just a little bit, because we had a conversation around that, wanting him to be able to put himself into it, which ended up being a really great thing for us, like Ryan said, delaying that. And then also my son ended up getting COVID, and he's okay now.
Oh my
but
gosh.
We pushed it out because of that. Obviously, wanted to make sure that I could focus on my family during that time. So there were a lot of things along the way that sort of, led us to where we are now. Again, everything's felt really natural. Even if it, was unusual circumstances, it felt sort of led us to where we're at now. So we're really just, enjoying, all of this. It's been really great.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear about your son. That's scary. Wow.
Yeah, it was terrifying, but but he's great now. He's healthy, and
that's good.
No,
I have
no
a
worries.
12-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was like, I'm still paranoid about it. So
yeah.
I've got an 8-month-old at home. So
oh my gosh.
We've been on full lockdown for sure.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't even want to chance it. Oh my gosh. Scary. Wow. I'm glad he's okay. Jeez.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Gavin's a cool kid, man.
Yeah. Are you guys doing anything on like Instagram to promote the record, or doing those live streams or sessions or anything like that?
We've talked about a couple of ideas. I don't know. We're hopping on the phone with Rob this week to kind of discuss some ideas, to kind of get his take on it, what's effective. We've been promoting with, our new photos, our teaser videos, our lyric video for Leave It With the Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another track coming out next month with another lyric video. And I think we're trying to figure out shooting a music video in this kind of new world that we're in right now, when you can't really be close to other people. So
sure.
We've got a couple of things in the works for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think some of that's, like, I don't know, teaser videos and stuff like that. That's all great and everything, but that's not like really like the fun stuff for, maybe fans of the band. So we're definitely trying to look into doing things that they may enjoy, like, like a quick little live performance of a song, however we can make that work, or going back and looking at, just different tracks that we recorded and stripping it down a little bit, that sort of thing. So, instead of just, really just promoting the record in sort of the traditional way. So
yeah,
that's where we're at with that.
Tell me a little bit about the new record, the song that you guys have put out so far. Leave It With the Ghost. That's an epic song. It's like over 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Is that setting like the precedence for the rest of the record, or tell me about that?
Well, it's funny because, not to talk about Hopesfall all the time, but honestly, in Hopesfall, they actually had put out a really long song as well, which I think maybe sort of gave us the confidence that, we can put out whatever song we want. And we were actually really, really happy, with all of our songs, obviously, but Jesse, our bass player, he put together the lyric video, and we really liked the way it turned out. We thought it represented the song well. So, we thought, let's just put that out first. I think it's a good introduction to the band for people who haven't, heard any of our stuff. And it's kind of a band favorite, or it has become a band favorite. It didn't stick out right away as like our favorite track, but I think over time it kind of grew on us. Like, yeah, this is a fun song to listen to. So that's why we put it out, and we've gotten, feedback that, yeah, it's long, but people are still really enjoying listening to it, which feels good to us, obviously, because you never know how it's going to be received. And, we've been fans, like Ryan said, of bands like The Cure, who, they'll take 5 minutes to get to the first, verse of a song. And we've always loved that. We love just taking your time, and letting the song kind of flow and just lay back and enjoy it. But, so that's, I don't know, Ryan, if you got anything else to say around that, but that's kind of, I think, what we felt about it.
Yeah. I think kind of bringing it back to mentioning that the house, my house, and having the recording studio, now that we don't have a clock, that's ticking, we can explore songs for longer periods of time. And I think with that song, we just kind of followed where it wanted to go. And that sounds kind of hokey when you say it like that, but that's really how that song developed. It was like each part led us to the next part. And, we like to write songs that you can kind of get lost inside of. So it's definitely the longest one we've ever written, but, it feels good. It feels good to play it.
Amazing. Well, you said you have another single or another track coming out in a couple weeks, and then the record in September.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of it.
Yeah, I feel like each track stands alone and has its own unique vibe, but we tried to sequence it in a way that the music never ends. So when you hit start, you're going to hopefully you're going to listen to it from beginning to end, and it'll kind of take you on a journey, so to speak.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah. So they all kind of sonically run into each other like a little bit throughout the record. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. And thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you making the time, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one more question. I want to see if I can get an answer from each of you individually.
Sure.
I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Lance, you go first.
Great. Yeah, you get some time to think about it, huh? It's funny. I was talking to somebody about this today, and it was related to something I think totally different. But I think when you're starting out as an artist, you can allow yourself to be sort of fearful of what other people might think, or, you get up there and you're going to think people think maybe you look like an idiot, right? Like, I think there's also sort of that imposter syndrome, thing, that you feel every once in a while. And don't let that get in the way. If something scares you, hit it head on. And the other thing I would say is just longevity. Just keep doing it. If you're passionate about it, keep doing it. You'll get better at it. And it'll become less scary. It'll be more fun. And for me, the biggest thing is the camaraderie that it brings. I love to collaborate with others. I'm not a big, I want to be a solo artist someday or anything like that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, that's not my thing. I really enjoy sort of, getting together with a group of friends and making music together. So if you can find something like that, don't let go of it.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Sure. Great advice. I guess for me, I would say be yourself. Don't try to copy someone else or be another band. Just write what feels natural to you and kind of lean into what you're good at. I think that's important because, especially when we were younger, a manager would come in or a label would come in and, they would give their feedback and something that I've always just tried to do, whether it's with my music or in my daily life, is just to trust my gut. Try to tune into that, because 9 times out of 10, I feel like it's right. If you're feeling like something's not going right with your music, try to tune into that and listen to that voice and just be yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
Bringing it backwards.